Hey everyone, welcome back to Encinas Unfiltered, your source for sports. To those of you who already like and subscribe, we greatly appreciate you. To those who have not, please like, subscribe, and follow us on our socials. We have recently launched our website, www.encinasunfiltered.com. The website has all of our social media links, such as YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, and Twitter or X, whichever one you prefer to call it. You're also able to watch our latest episode from our weekly show, which we're filming right now, and you can check out our latest interview right from the website. Which we will be filming a new interview this coming week. So today's podcast will be in the following order. First off, we're going to go over some boxing. So Munguia is fighting Ryder this weekend on DAZN. And that starts at 5 p.m. Pacific. That's when the main card starts. And you can only check that out on DAZN. Next, we're going to do a recap of UFC 297, Strickland versus Plessis. And it's more of like the controversy, and I'm going to break it down as well. Because I know Bevel feels a certain kind of way about that fight. I felt a certain kind of way. I haven't rewatched it, but watching it initially, like how I felt. Betting aside, we're not going to talk about betting. I mean, we're going to talk about it, but like betting aside, like how I thought the fight went. And then last but not least, we're going to just get into our NFL football playoffs and just our prediction and some betting, just more over-unders. There's only 2 games this week. Winners going to the bowl, so it should be pretty short and sweet. So let's kind of get right into it. So like I said, Munguia is fighting Ryder. They are fighting 5 p.m. Pacific on DAZN.
Yeah, they're fighting in Phoenix, Arizona, at the Footprint Center.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Fight is in Phoenix, Arizona. Footprint Center, home of the Phoenix Suns and Mercury, and it can hold up to 17,000 people. Dang.
Yep.
So Munguia is 6 foot. He's 42-0 with 33 knockouts, and John Ryder is 5'9". He's 38 fights. He's a 32-6 record with 18 wins by knockout. Ryder's known for his last fight. I mean, he's well known, but he fought Canelo and lost. It was a pretty good fight. And Munguia, I mean, he's an upcoming Mexican fighter that's, has a lot of knockouts and puts butts in seats. So, Bebel, what are your initial thoughts on this fight?
I hope it's a good one. We haven't seen Munguia fight since, or it hasn't been that long, but since June of last year. Like, yeah, he has the experience for sure. He's, what is he, 42 and
42-0 with 33 knockouts.
Yeah, something crazy like that. Like, he definitely has the experience, but I really don't think he's proved himself, and he hasn't fought like the top guys of his division in, I believe, 167, right?
Yeah, super middleweight.
Yeah. And John Ryder, I mean, his last fight against Canelo, everyone said, "Oh, Canelo's gonna knock him out." He went the distance with them. He was freaking going punch for punch, and I think that was a pretty good fight too. So, if John Ryder comes out the same way how he came out with Canelo, just tough chin, is fighting back, then I think it'll be a good one.
Yeah, so the super middleweight is between 160 and 168. And I think what you were kind of trying to say was that, like, you want him to face better competition. I think that's the word you're looking for. Like, I think you want to see him fight some better competition, and I think John Ryder is a step in the right direction. But you got to remember, a lot of these young fighters, they're fighting just whoever they can fight. And, I mean, they got to grow that resume. I know he wants to fight Canelo. Personally, I don't think he's ready for Canelo.
No,
I just think
not at all.
Canelo's too strong. Canelo's in his prime. I don't think so. But some of the other guys in the division are Caleb Plant, David Benavidez. Like, you have some good names in the division. Dude, I mean, I just don't know. I don't know. I would like to see him see how he does against Ryder, and then maybe see him fight a Plant or a Benavidez or one of these guys before he tries to take on Canelo. I mean, I don't even know if Canelo's even interested in that fight, because it sounds like Canelo's going to be fighting Charlo here pretty soon. The other brother.
Yeah.
So, I mean, yeah, I don't know. I've heard a lot of talk of him, wanting to fight Canelo and stuff, but I mean, I think this is a great opportunity for Ryder to put himself right back in that conversation, maybe to get a rematch or to fight one of these top guys. I mean,
for sure.
It seems like a lot of these guys, like David and all these guys, want to fight Canelo, but, really at the end of the day, call it for what it is. Like, Canelo doesn't need to prove anything. Like,
oh, yeah. Heck no, bro. He already...
No, he doesn't have to. And he can fight whoever he wants.
Yeah.
And these guys need to fight each other and we'll see what happens. I think if Munguia goes on there and starches him, okay, now we're talking.
Yeah.
Maybe he fights a Benavidez, or maybe he fights a Plant, or somebody who's been up there, And Ryder's no slouch. Like, Ryder is good. He has knockout power. He is a little smaller, though. Munguia is pretty tall.
Yeah.
But, I'm really interested to see how this goes. I don't think Munguia knocks him out, but I think it's a 12-round decision by Munguia. That's my prediction, if I had to say one.
Might have to agree with you on that.
Yeah.
Because of those shots that Ryder was taking his last fight. I mean, that guy has a freaking chin.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you want to look like who the guys they fought, so Ryder's fought in Canelo. He's fought in Zach Parker, Daniel Jacobs. He fought Callum Smith. He lost to Callum, but I mean, he fought him. He lost to Rocky Felding, another guy that Canelo beat. It's a lot of these English guys.
Mm-hmm.
But Canelo's beat those guys. And he lost. It was, I mean, like I said, this is a unanimous decision, and it wasn't like he, got knocked out or anything. But yeah, I mean, if he can get a win against Munguia, I think it'll be big. And I mean, Munguia's fought in some guys too. I mean, he's still building his resume, but he's fought in guys that are 40-3. Patrick Alate, he's fought in guys that are 21-1, 21-0, 26-2. I mean, he's fought in some good guys, but I get what you're saying. Like, he fought Liam Smith. I think, though, you're just looking for that big name, right?
Yeah.
And I think as he keeps fighting, like I said, I'll kind of re-say this, like, Plant, Benavidez. Like, I think those are the two big names besides Canelo and Ryder, right, that are in that weight class. Like, maybe if he gets a win, and maybe if he knocks out Ryder, maybe that'd be a good spot for him to go and challenge one of those guys. And, if he dominates them, and then basically he needs to make it to the point where it's like, okay, I'm the mandatory now, give me the fight. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think that's what I would like to see from him, because he's still young. He's only 27. So
yeah, he still has some years left.
Yeah. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. I think unanimous decision, Munguia. But the next thing I kind of wanted to get into was UFC 297, the Strickland versus Duplessis. I don't know if you watched the whole card or not, the main card, but I just wanted to touch on a couple fights. So you had like the Neil Magny, Mike Mallet fight. So Mike Mallet was a favorite in that fight, and he ended up gassing in the third round and got knocked out. And it wasn't even like he got knocked out; he just gassed.
Wow.
Kind of reminded me of Connor. Connor fights and gets gassed out. And then the women's bantamweight fight for the belt. Raquel Pennington won by decision. It was interesting. Like, I think it was really interesting. Like in the beginning, where Mayra Bueno Silva could have maybe, like, she had her in. Well, she was trying to tap her out. She's a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu black belt, and she had her in some good spots, but it was never enough.
Yeah.
But that went 5 rounds, and yeah, I had Pennington winning that fight as well. But the main event was Strickland versus Duplessis, and it was kind of a weird one. Like, I know you had bet on Strickland, and you're like, and I was like, well, I think Duplessis was gonna win. I think just for the story too. Like, it didn't seem like Izzy really cared to fight Strickland.
Yeah.
Not making excuses. I'm just telling you what I saw. Like, he had literally beat everyone in the division, and he was just kind of like whatever about it. Whether he had an off night or not, he lost. Strickland won, whooped his ass.
Yeah, he came out sorry that fight.
Yeah, and so then Strickland fought Duplessis, who Duplessis was supposed to fight Izzy. That was the whole setup.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm actually going to let you go ahead and talk about what you thought, and then I'm going to talk about what I talked about, like what I told you already, but we'll tell everybody else.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to go through the rounds 1 through 5 and talk about like the strikes and whatnot, because I know there's a bunch of different things that come to play, because it's not a boxing match, and those are the things you have to remember.
That's what I tend to get carried away with, is thinking they score like almost like boxing. But
right.
I've been waiting a whole week almost to argue with you about this fight, and I don't know. I thought Strickland won the first 2. He had a really nice jab that was connecting a lot in the first 2 rounds, and then the second two, the third and the fourth, or I mean, even DDP, he did drop him. I think in every single round, like he took him down, right?
Mm-hmm. No, it wasn't every round, but he went 6 for 11.
Okay, yeah. Well, I mean, he did have a significant amount of takedowns, and I guess in UFC that does matter a lot from control or whatever. But so I had Strickland the first two. He came out really good, I think. And then the second two, he kind of like took the foot off the gas in a way, and Duplessis started coming back. Got him with a couple shots. I think it was the third round. He got him with like a spinning back fist or something like that. That was pretty neat.
Yeah. He was throwing a lot of spinning back fists, but I don't know if he like fully solidly connected. I mean, he might have connected on one, but it wasn't anything significant.
Yeah.
Um, but I think what ended up cutting Strickland was a headbutt, is what Strickland said. I didn't go back and I
Mm,
haven't watched it yet, but I'm gonna let you continue finishing what you're going to talk about, and then I'm gonna kind of talk about where I saw it from my perspective, and then
yeah, yeah,
I guess we'll let everybody else decide what they thought. But I know it was very split, and a lot of people said Strickland won. So
yeah. And so like the third and the fourth, DDP started picking up the pace. Caught him with a couple shots. Even before or after the headbutt, he even cut him like right here at the corner of his eye with the shot. So, but then, so I had it tied up going to the fifth round, the championship round, and I just thought Strickland won the fifth round, and DDP didn't do enough to take away the belt from him, and well, we all know what happened after that. I even lost some money on him, but whatever. And yeah, so I think I thought Strickland won the fifth round, and I thought that was the round that decided the whole fight.
yeah, I think what's interesting too is that even Dana White came out and said that he had Strickland winning. He had a 2-2 going into the fifth, and he had Strickland winning the fifth, which I also had Strickland winning the fifth round, and that he thought Strickland should have been the champion.
Yeah,
Um, and I think it's when the boss says it, it has some weight to it. And I know a lot of people were like, Strickland got robbed. And I was like, I don't know. I think robbery is where if it was a completely one-sided fight, like if Strickland, when the Strickland Izzy fight and they gave it to Izzy instead of Strickland, like that
yeah,
would have been a
that's
robbery,
yeah.
right?
Uh-huh.
But I think something that's closest like 3-2, I don't know if it could go either way. And one of Dana White's famous lines is don't leave it up to the judges, right?
Mhm.
And so the way I looked at the fight, and I'm just going to talk about the numbers. So in the first round, Strickland landed 34 shots, and Duplessis landed 18. Like, yeah, we gave Strickland the first round. I think you and I both agree on that one. What I will say is what I noticed is Strickland was throwing a lot of jabs, though. And
Yeah.
that's kind of also my point is that we're going to get into. They called them significant strikes, and yeah, they were landing, but it was a lot of jabs. And based on damage on Duplessis' face after the first round, like, yeah, I gave Strickland the first round. I had it. But during the broadcast, I forget who, might have been John Anik or somebody that was talking about scoring. And they said basically, because someone asked a question, I don't remember who, but they said, um, how does this damage scored in a fight? And they go, essentially, if there's a cut that's been made, they score for that fight. And, if that cut's reopened or if more damage is done, that's how they assess the damage, right? Obviously, if you knock somebody down, and that's also damage, but like essentially it's made for that round and that's it. Okay. So that's my understanding of it. That's what they said on the broadcast. And then as far as like scoring UFC fights, so the biggest thing now is damage. That's the first thing they scored on. The second thing is takedowns or control. Or sorry, it's like takedowns. But also, I mean, also you have to land strikes and takedowns, right? Which I know we didn't see a lot of Duplessis, which I completely understand that counter argument. And I've seen a lot of it online, especially on Instagram. People have been going in. They're like, yeah, he took him down, but he didn't do anything with it. It's like, yeah, I understand that, but there's still points that are assessed for like getting a takedown on somebody.
Yeah.
And the last one's control. Even though it's not the biggest aspect of it, I think I haven't looked back at the fight, but when I was watching the fight, Duplessis was constantly putting pressure, regardless if he was getting hit or not. He was controlling the octagon by his
He,
takedowns and by pushing the pace.
yeah, he
And
was. He
Strickland is
had
known
yeah.
to push. That's what
Uh-huh.
Strickland's known for, is going forward. but Duplessis was the guy going forward. So Strickland had gotten takedown, which isn't the biggest factor, and he was getting out controlled by Duplessis, right? So, but I told you the first round, 34 strikes to 18. So yeah, and he did have more damage because Duplessis was starting to get busted up and his eye was starting to get swollen and stuff. So yeah, Strickland first round, no doubt. The second round, I believe Duplessis took him down. Duplessis was pushing the pace, and actually he outscored or outstruck Strickland 26-22. So because of that, I gave Duplessis the second round. I mean, obviously I'm watching it in real time and I didn't have these stats, but I'd given Duplessis the second round. So if you want to make an argument for strikes, Duplessis won that round. So in round 3, it was 31-29, which is a close round, right? 31-29. And mind you, Strickland was throwing a lot of jabs. Not everything was a jab, but he was throwing a lot of jabs. So you had a close striking round. Strickland didn't have control, and he got taken down a couple times. It might have been once or twice, I forget. But, Duplessis was 6 for 11 in the fight. So, so that's why in the third round, even though he got outstruck, he was winning in those 2 other categories as well. And I felt comfortable being like, yeah, I think he won that round, regardless. So, and like I keep reiterating, it's not boxing. The strike, boxing is strikes. It's not, and power shots. This is not. UFC is mixed. It's everything. The fourth round, the strikes were in favor of Strickland it was 33-29. So Duplessis also landed 29 again. I would say still that's pretty close, 4 strikes. Just like round 2, the difference was 4 strikes, but Duplessis took down Strickland right in round 2. Well, in round 4, Duplessis took him down again and controlled the octagon again. And so when I saw that as well, I was like, well, to me, based on those 3 factors, I still thought Duplessis won that round. But I do want to go back, and something I forgot to explain was that the damage, right? The damage aspect of these fights or of these rounds. So in the first round, Strickland busted up Duplessis. Strickland won that first round. You let that bruise be that bruise, and then you move on. You don't keep reassessing that, I guess is what they were trying to explain in the broadcast, as like damage for every round or whatever. I don't know. That's what they were saying. It was something like that. I'd have to go back. Yeah,
I remember they're talking about that.
And then in the second round, Duplessis started putting the takedowns, the strikes. He outstruck him, so he got the second round. The third round, I think, is when he cut Strickland, and that's when his side of his eye was bleeding. And then I don't know when the top of the head happened. I don't know if it was at the 4th round or the 3rd round.
I think it was at towards the end of the 4th.
The 4th?
Then his whole eye, his whole eye was covered in blood, and he kept on wiping.
Was it the 3rd or was it the 4th round?
I think it might have been the 4th. Or
okay.
I don't know. I don't know.
I'd have to go back. Like I said, I didn't know how. I'm not able to go back right now. But so I didn't know there was headbutts. I didn't know that because they didn't call it. They didn't say anything. So if you don't say a headbutt, then I'm, especially as fast as it's going, I'm not going to know. So if I'm looking at the damage aspect, I was like, okay, well, look at Strickland now in the 3rd round, 4th round. He's getting busted up. He's getting pushed and he's getting taken down. I'm like, okay, well, even if he out-jabbed Duplessis, he didn't. I felt like watching it. He didn't win the fight, win that round. So I was like, okay, I give Duplessis the 4th round. So I have it 3-1 Duplessis going into the 5th round, and then Strickland outstruck him 53-35. That's pretty convincingly. And I don't even remember if Duplessis took him down, but it was a very quick. I think he popped back up if he did. I don't remember though. And but I mean that first round and that 5th round was very clear. Strickland had won those rounds, right? And I think those middle rounds is where you kind of start getting into this gray area where it's okay, strikes were close, but okay, well, let's get into takedowns. Okay, well, did Strickland take him down? No. Did he get back up? Yes, but and was Strickland? I think it would have been different if Strickland was pushing the pace and had octagon control. I honestly feel like if he had octagon control, a lot of those close rounds would have went to him. But the fact he was just kind of shelling up, standing back, and just throwing jabs, it's kind of I mean, one judge had it for Strickland and 2 had it for Duplessis. And I also had it for Duplessis the same exact way the judges scored it. And I'm not saying I'm right or wrong. I could see it 3-2 either way. But I think for me, that's why, me watching it, I was like, well, there's damage here, and there's takedowns, and he's controlling the cage. So how are you not going to give it to him?
Mm-hmm.
And I think, and two, if that headbutt is what caused all that, and the referee was like, "Hey, that was caused by a headbutt." Not saying they catch it all the time, but to say they're like, he's like, "That was a headbutt." Like, in boxing, they go headbutt and intentional. Then that's a whole different scenario that we're talking about, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So, so yeah, and that's why I had it for Duplessis, and obviously Duplessis won, and people went crazy, and it was all over Instagram and Twitter, and people were losing their minds. And I was like, okay, it's not that big of a robbery, in my opinion. It was a close fight that could have went either way. It just depends on what the judges favored. And if you didn't know it was a headbutt, how are you not going to know that Duplessis didn't cause that cut? I mean, if you're watching
Yep.
that fight as a judge, you're probably like, okay, well, he cut him open and it's causing him not to see, so that's damage, right?
Yeah, that's kind of crazy because I didn't even notice that was a headbutt until Strickland came on and said like something when he was filming like a video or something.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he said afterwards, he was like, that was from a
Yeah.
headbutt. Um, I
Yeah, it
mean,
was
it was a
weird.
good
Like,
fight, though. It was a
yeah.
good fight. I mean, I would like to see it again. Like, if they don't want to, someone doesn't want to fight Izzy, like,
Oh yeah.
put him on UFC 300. Well, I don't know if they could fight at UFC 300, but if they could, like, I'd watch it again. That was a good
Yeah.
fight. And then, I think Sean would just have to have a different game plan and go in and actually, you know, push the pace.
Oh yeah,
Um,
for
but I
sure.
will say
But
too, the last thing, like Duplessis has a really awkward style, and that's the one thing that I noticed. He was hitting Sean with some pretty good leg kicks. It was like a weird, like, I don't know if it was an axe kick or a question mark kick. It was just like a weird way he set it up. But I guess they were saying during the podcast that he had a lot of like kickboxing experience. So, but that was a really good kick that he was throwing in, and I think it was the fourth round that he was catching Strickland with those when he was all bloodied up. So, um, but yeah, that's why I had it. And then I think I put up a poll, and a lot of people, I think most of the majority of people said that Strickland won the fight. So,
yeah.
but but I was just kind of trying to explain my, like, the opposite side's thought of the fight, and like I could see where Strickland could win based on how you're scoring it, because you're like, well, damage is what matters. There was a headbutt. He didn't do anything with the takedowns. I completely understand, and I completely see that side as well. Like, if you're a judge and you're like, well, he didn't hold him down, I don't give a crap. Like, and I could see you giving Strickland like one of those rounds, probably like round 3 or round 4. Well, no, round 4 he was kind of bloodied up. I think that'd be a hard one to give him.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, either way, great fight. I'd love to see it again. I wasn't mad about the outcome. I wouldn't have been mad if Strickland would have won either, because I could have seen it either way. But I think if Strickland fights him again, he just needs to go for it. Push him. Make him go back, And I think he'd have a
Mhm.
different outcome,
Yeah. Control
because he
the
was catching
pace
him with
of the
some good
fight.
shots. Yeah. But the last thing we're going to talk about, and like I said at the top, this is going to be a very short one. There's not a lot of football. There wasn't really a whole lot going on. So is the NFL football playoffs. So, we got, let me pull it up here. So first game, we got Kansas City at Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens are favored by -3.5. Chiefs are +170. The total's 44.5. I'll let you go first.
Um, I I would go under on this game for sure, but
Under?
yeah,
All right.
I think under. And for money, like money line, just choosing one, I want the Chiefs to win. But since I be betting on the games, I got Chiefs +3.5.
Dang. Ooh, yeah. So dude, I don't know. I mean, what was it like? Patrick Mahomes has been to every AFC Championship game that when he started playing full time, and like I forget how many years it's been, but he's gone to every, is it like 4 or 5 every AFC Championship game,
Yeah, it's something crazy like that.
and I actually thought the Bills were going to win last week, but I just got to stick with my gut and what I've been saying, even though my bracket's busted a couple times. I I still think that the Ravens are going to win. I think the Ravens are going to win the division, go to the Super Bowl, and probably win. Like, and that's coming from a Niners fan. It hurts me to say the Ravens are going to go to the Super Bowl and win. I just think they have a really good defense, number 1 defense right now. They're getting back tight end Mark Andrews, which is huge for them. Not like Isaiah Likely was doing terrible, but Mark Andrews is a whole nother, that's an all-pro tight end that you're getting back. And I think Baltimore wins by more than 3.5. I think they win by 10 points. And I think, honestly, I think the game's going to go over. I think we're going to be surprised. I think it'd be different if it was in Kansas City, but I think because it's in Baltimore, it's going to be a high scoring game. But I think, in my opinion, I think Baltimore's going to win by 10. So, I also think I said that Baltimore is going to win the division in Super Bowl on Fliff, but and the last game, which I'm watching by myself because my wife will be on Disney on Ice without me. But she's going with my in-laws and your homegirl.
Oh, nice.
Won't say her name, but so we got Detroit Lions and San Francisco. San Francisco's favored by -7, and Detroit's plus 260. The total's 50.5. And even though that's high, I'm gonna go first. Actually, I'm gonna let you go first just because it's my team. I didn't even think about that, but I'll let you go first. But yeah, I have my thoughts about that.
Well. I think 50.5 is way too high, man.
You're crazy.
I think that's way too high. But I don't know. I be saying that, but I honestly might bet the over. You know how that goes. But I don't know. I just don't. I don't think it goes over 50. I think Jared Goff really folds under pressure.
Oh man,
against the 49ers.
Oh, it's because you're hating on him, bro. You're a hater. You're a hater because he got traded for the Rams. Come on.
I'm not hating, but it's just I'm not hating. I'm saying this because there's history behind him folding with the Rams.
I mean, there's also history
against
with him
the Niners.
handled.
There's history.
Yeah, getting handled by the Niners when he was in LA.
There's history behind that, so I think
that
history
you had Cam Akers, who's
itself.
boo boo too, but
there's history, bro. I think that is gonna repeat, and that meathead of a coach is gonna make a dumb decision that sells him the game or something. And I got Niners -7. Damn. And I'm saying this with this shirt on, bro.
Oh man,
that's a sin.
So what? So you're going over or under?
Under.
You're going to go under. So only because our defense has been prone, especially our freaking garbage corner, Thomas. You remember that? You saw that. Giving up big plays. I think it's going to go over. I just think it's going to be a high-scoring game. Detroit has a good run defense, but that's kind of it. Their pass defense is a little weak. I also saw old tweets of Debo bullying the cornerback in college, and they've been going back and forth. But that's another thing I wanted to say. It all depends on if Debo plays. And that's really, I wouldn't put anything or do anything until I find out what's going on with him. I was talking to some buddies at work who's also a Niners fan, and I go, dude, we don't even need Debo to really do a lot. We just need him out there as a distraction to set up plays. We do a lot of stuff where we make it seem like we're going to do a jet sweep. And instead of giving it to him, do a little swing route with McCaffrey or throw out. There's other options out there, but him not being in the game, I think allows for other teams to recognize what we're going to do. And when Christian was running in the first half, they were stuffing him, dude. And mind you, I think that's the best running back in football right now. And they're absolutely just stuffing him. And that's even when Trip Williams on the left side, they were still stuffing him. And a lot of teams haven't been able to do that to us all. I think for me, it really just depends if he's there. And I think if he's playing, not necessarily in full capacity, but suiting up and being out there, I think we win. I'm not really worried about that. I would take -7 all day. But if Debo's not there, I've kind of been teetering. Just man, we've had some close games. I just don't really think Green Bay was a good team. Yeah, they beat the Cowboys, but I don't even know what happened there. And I just don't know. I don't think Green Bay is that good. Can they be good one day? Absolutely. Can Jordan Love be a great quarterback one day? Absolutely. I just don't think he's there yet. I've said the same criticisms of Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy's good. I just don't think he's there yet. He's only in second year, so is Jordan Love, right? I mean, it's not. Or what is Jordan Love? Not a second year, third year? I forget.
I think it's his third.
Yeah, but I mean, either way, they're both really young. It's it's Love's first year fully playing by himself, though. I mean, like he's a
Yeah.
starter. So I mean, yeah. So I'm kind of waiting on that because I think for me that's what I'm really depending on is if Debo plays. Because like I said, one of my buddies at work was like asked me, "Are you going to take the -7?" I was like, "Not if Debo's not playing. Like as bad as we played against Green Bay, like we should have beat Green Bay like pretty handily. Like the way that the Ravens beat the Texans is how we should have beat Green Bay, and we didn't do that. So yeah, I mean, Debo plays -7 all day, no problem. If Debo doesn't, I kind of might be teetering on that +7. I think we might. I think we could still win by like 3 or 4. It'd be really close. Um, honestly, I don't know. I don't think Detroit wins unless like McCaffrey gets hurt or Ayuk gets hurt or Purdy gets hurt, Kittle gets hurt. Somebody, if one of those guys gets hurt, I think that's where they can beat us at. So I know this guy here says 30-26 Lions. I mean, yeah. I mean, like I said, 4, right? This is 3 or 4. Like, I think it goes the over for sure. I just don't know how close the game will be. So
Have you seen any news on like if Debo's been practicing or anything?
I haven't looked. I've been kind of busy, but I know last time I was reading, it was like he was 50-50.
Mm.
So, like, I know
Probably
one
gonna
of my
be a
buddies is
game
like,
time decision, huh?
probably. I know one of my buddies is like, give him a wrap and a quarter zone shot. I'm like, no, you don't want to. He's still young, dude. Like, but I didn't even talk about this, dude. Look at they have little props for the game. Look at this. So Patrick Mahomes over 36.5 passing attempts -110.
I'm
And he
doubling
says I'm
down.
doubling down here. And then Roquan Smith over 2.5 assists. Justin over 2.5 total tackles, and Justin Reed under 2.5 assists. Yeah. But the props for the Niners game is like Brandon Ayuk under 5.5 receptions. And it says this is the highest reception line for the season, which makes it an easy fade. Yeah, and Ayuk only had 4, 5, 5, and 3. So I mean, he hasn't been getting a lot of catches. David Montgomery over 1.5 receptions. He caught 3 passes against the Bucs. I think that's easy. Jameson Williams under 2.5 receptions. He's only had 9 targets in the last 3 outings. So I mean, I think that's an easy one. Bosa over 2.5 tackles. It's -180. Over 0.5 assists is -210, and under 1 sack is +125. That's crazy. Jared Goff is one of the league's lowest sack rates. Nah, bro. Bosa's getting a sack, dude. You take that plus money, bro. Oh no, it's unders plus. Now you take the minus money. Because last week with Green Bay, they were playing a lot of zone. Greenlaw and Warner. That's why Greenlaw got 2 interceptions because I think they were worried about Love running. But Goff's not going to run. He's not a
Oh
runner.
yeah, no.
He's not a runner. He's not a track star. That was stupid.
That was hella dumb. Come on.
But yeah, I mean, and then Armstead over 0.5 assists, and Alex Alazone on his loan over
Anzalone.
4.5. Whatever, he's over 4.5 solos. But yeah, man, it's interesting. There's some interesting props.
There'll be some good games this week, man.
There is going to be some good games this week. I mean, I'm super
down
interested to see how it goes. Like I said, though, I'm taking Baltimore Niners in the Super Bowl, and I'm taking, even though it hurts my soul to say this as a Niners fan, I think Baltimore gets it done. Their defense is just too good. They got Brock Purdy's number. They know you blitz Purdy and you jump as soon as he throws. Like you're gonna tip it and get 4 interceptions on him, right?
It's hard to beat a team twice, man.
It is, but I just think their team is on a whole nother level. It's weird because their offense is fine, but it's not crazy. Like with Mark Andrews coming back, they look good, right?
We'll
but
see
I
how
think
they
Lamar is
play,
just
though.
so good. Lamar's so good. Like honestly, like it's almost scary. Like if they lose and Kansas City wins, because Kansas City has a lot of experience, but I don't know if they have that core, that receiver core to get it. Yeah, I mean, they have a lot of experience, and I think like as a Niners fan, like we have a lot of like playoff experience getting to the game, but Mahomes has won, and he's gotten there like a lot. So I think that would be kind of scary, but their receiver core is really bad. Like Rashid Rice has been doing good like now, but he's not like a big name, right? Like I think if they had Tyreek Hill, like whoever wins the AFC is winning, the Super Bowl, right? Because like That's it. And honestly, like I feel like Baltimore's missing a big name receiver too. Like Zay Flowers did fine, but it wasn't anything crazy. And OBJ gets hurt all the time, so he's not doing anything crazy.
Yeah.
But that's what I said. With Mark Andrews coming back, like I don't know. Like I really do think Baltimore's going to take it. And even though I'll be rocking my jersey for the Super Bowl, dude, I just don't. I just don't think it's going to happen, dude.
Right after the NFC Championship game, that's a long 2 weeks to wait, bro.
I know.
It's
We don't even talk about
2
football
weeks.
for a week. We can talk about the Pro Bowl, flag football, dude. We can talk about some flag football, man.
I know.
That's
That's a
crazy.
long 2 weeks. Especially if your team's in it, bro.
I know. But there's gonna be some good commercials, so even if we're getting handed to, at least I can watch some funny stuff and
they
go
be
from
juicy.
there.
They be milking these commercials, man.
Hey, dude.
Commercial after every damn play, almost. Like, damn.
Hey, there's two good things that come out of this if your team's not even in it. You get some funny commercials, and all the TVs go on sale right after the Super Bowl. So,
yeah.
If you don't know, now you know.
Yep.
That'd be a good catchphrase, huh? But these are our props. We'll see what happens. These are our predictions. Obviously take this with a grain of salt. It's not professional advice. It's opinions. And we'll be back next week. However, this week we are filming Armored Combat. So I was on the phone today with Eric, and he was telling me that there's a bunch of different names for his sport. So he said he could talk 20 minutes just about all the different things that it's called. But I'm really excited for this interview. It's going to be just really different. I mean, these guys are in 50-pound armor suits, beating the crap out of each other with blunt weapons. They have teams, they have solos. Like, it's crazy. Like, think For Honor, the game For Honor, but in real life. I mean,
That's
obviously,
crazy.
besides like the killing, all right, it's all blunt weapons, but it's some of the craziest stuff I've seen, dude. Like, just him showing me stuff when we see him, it's like, I don't even know how he does it. Like, there's like real injuries, like tears, ACL, MCL. Like, it's brutal, dude. Definitely some concussions too. Yeah, he's gonna bring the YouTube videos. We're gonna have him on. We're gonna be filming Saturday, and then we'll probably get it out to you guys by the weekend or Monday. And so everyone could check that out. I know a lot of people are really excited about it because it's something different, kind of outside the realm of things that we cover. But it's definitely, I think, going to be a lot of fun and pretty cool to see something new and kind of show that to the world. Also, on a side note, I don't know if I'm going to include this or not. I've thought about doing like a Patreon or something. I don't know, something where it's like a subscription or subscribe. Like, there's a lot of YouTubers that'll do like Patreons, and that's where you release content for people who like support you like 3 days early.
Oh, really?
So people can get access to your podcast 3 days early, or behind the scenes stuff, maybe completely unedited, all the stuff that we mess up on, or all the crazy shit we don't post. All of our crazy opinions that Bebo has that probably won't make it through this podcast. But they can hear your parents talking in the background. They can hear my dog barking, your dog getting her ass whoop.
The fan favorites, huh?
Bro, they're gonna get them all. And maybe that's how we give out our Don't Be a Larry's. I don't know, dude. We'll see. I know. Where's the Don't Be a Larry's?
It's been a while.
I know. But yeah, that's something I've been wanting to do. I thought that'd be kind of cool. But either way, you can check this out on our website, www.encinas.unfiltered.com. And from there, you can see all our social links. You can see all the stuff that we have going on. Every week is the latest episode. And whenever we do our interviews, the last episode that we film will be posted there. So until next time, peace.